Oh, sorry. I was distracted with my phone. I didn't realize the camera was on. You've probably spent a lot of time and a lot of effort throughout your life trying to distract yourself and run away from boredom. Boredom is a state that most of us want to have nothing to do with. Any single moment that we become bored, we immediately seek to fill our time with something distracting, something entertaining. And this usually takes the form of pointless, bad habits. Going on Instagram, going on social media, going on YouTube, playing video games, whatever it might be. Even eating. A lot of people eat because they're bored. We don't want to be bored, and so we fill our time with as much stimulation as possible. Of course, this serves to eliminate the boredom, and we might think that's a good thing. Who wants to be bored in the modern world when you have so many opportunities to distract yourself? The issue comes with the fact that when you are forced or when you are faced with a task that is inherently boring, you find it very difficult to focus. You find it difficult to engage and focus your mind on these tasks. And instead, you get distracted. You might spend 2 minutes, 3 minutes on a task, on your homework, on studying, on reading, on working out, on running, whatever it might be. 2 to 3 minutes on these kind of boring tasks that you know are good for you, but again, they're difficult, they're boring, until your brain says, hey, somebody uploaded a new YouTube video, let's go see what that's like. Oh, your mate just logged on to League of Legends and he wants you to play with him. Let's go do that instead. And you can't focus. You lose your focus. And you might be able to wrest your focus away from this distraction and try to set yourself down to the task again. You might have success for another 2-3 minutes and you're straight back where you are. You're on your phone, you're going to look for something to eat, you're looking for a snack, you're looking to play a game, anything to distract yourself, and you've lost your focus. This is why the ability to embrace boredom and not look for ways out of it is so important in today's world. Now, I've always been somebody who hates boredom. I'm just like everyone watching this video, I'm just like you. Any moment of silence I've filled with music or a podcast or a YouTube video or whatever it might be. And while this seemed harmless, and whilst it seemed, of course I'm going to do that. Of course, if I'm on the bus for an hour, I'm going to put music on, I'm going to listen to a podcast. But by doing this for years and years and years, I've built up a habit of seeking distraction. And while this temporarily eliminated boredom, it created a much bigger issue, and that was being unable to focus when boredom is present. I couldn't focus. I kept getting distracted. I kept spending a maximum of 5 minutes on a task and then switching to checking my phone and then coming back to the task for a few minutes and then going to look at a YouTube video. And the quality of my work suffered. I knew I was capable of so much more than what I was doing, but I just couldn't focus for long enough and intensely enough to actually get that effort and get that quality down. You might think it's harmless, checking the phone for 30 seconds, or when you're on the bus, putting the music on, watching a video. Every now and then it is, but like I said, and this really does build up a habit of hating boredom, of being unable to focus in boring moments. And sure, it might temporarily alleviate the boredom, but overall it's really damaging to your life. This habit also made me a lot less sociable than I otherwise would have and could have been. Anytime I was out for a walk, as I said, on the bus, on the train, whatever it might be, even if I was with people that I knew, even if I was with friends, it was such a habit to put music in, watch a video, or distract myself with my phone or whatever I'm doing, that I would actively want to do that. Even if I was with somebody and I could talk to them, I would crave distraction. I would crave my phone, I would crave music, I would crave anything that I usually did when I was by myself. If I was with somebody in a situation that was less stimulating than whatever my phone or whatever my computer or whatever my TV could provide me, I would be constantly thinking about when's the next moment I get to distract myself. And it really took me out of the moment. You'll learn through mindfulness and through meditation that being present in the moment is one of the most important things to work towards and improve at. And if you're constantly looking for distractions, you're constantly taking yourself out of the moment. Distraction also took away a great opportunity for me to connect with my thoughts. Sometimes the best thoughts, the best ideas, the best moments of clarity come when you have nothing to do. You've got nothing to distract you. It's you and your thoughts alone in silence. But if you're always distracting yourself, if you're always trying to eliminate these silences, if you're never letting yourself be bored enough to do some introspection, you won't have these moments of clarity. You won't be able to solve the problems in your life or even identify what those problems are, because again, you've always got your phone in your face, you've always got music on, and basically mean that you never ever have to engage with any of your problems or your thoughts. You're just running away from them. So what am I saying you should do? What can you do? If you're like me, and you probably are, you're watching this video probably because you're bored, you want to do something to change your life. You want to do something that will essentially allow you to focus, allow you to be more present, allow you to step away from the distractions in your life, to put your phone down and really engage with what you're doing. Or maybe you just want to connect with your thoughts more. Maybe you're a little bit afraid of what's going on in your head, so you don't allow yourself to spend time to think about it. But you know you should, you know it's beneficial. What can you do to help? Like the title of this video suggests, you need to learn to embrace boredom, to actively seek out moments of boredom and purposely not, and I repeat this, not distract yourself from it. You need to start reducing the number of low quality distractions that you have throughout your day. And this is especially important to do when you don't have anything to do, or when you're doing something which most people would distract themselves with. If you're going on a journey, if you're standing in a queue, every time you get that itch, that craving to reach for your phone and distract yourself, don't do it. Now at the start, you're probably going to think, well, what am I going to do with my time? If I'm not distracting myself with my phone, if I'm not spending 5 hours a day on social media, or I'm not binging a series on Netflix, what am I going to do with my time? If I'm on the bus for an hour and I'm not listening to music, what am I going to do? And there are of course a number of things you can do to fill that time, but I would honestly suggest at the start, take some time to do nothing. Doing nothing is a luxury in the modern day. Doing nothing is seen as one of the worst things you can do. But I ask you this, if you're the kind of person who distracts themselves constantly instead of doing nothing, why is watching somebody's Minecraft Let's Play? Why is watching a series on Netflix that you're not really enjoying but it's something to do so I'll do it anyway? Why is that more beneficial than sitting down or staying in silence and doing nothing? I would argue that it's more beneficial to do nothing, because by doing nothing, there's nothing to distract you from internalizing your thoughts and actually trying to think about your life state. But regardless, by doing nothing, you will very quickly start to think of things that you can do now that you have all of this free time. Again, one of the things that I think is an incredible use of your boredom time is meditation. If one of the acts of embracing boredom and not distracting yourself is to become more present, is to become more aware of your thoughts, coupling this with meditation is a fantastic way to skyrocket that effect, to skyrocket your leveling up in that skill. If you meditate, you will learn to be comfortable with just living in the moment. You will learn to embrace moments of quiet, moments of serenity, and not feel the need to distract yourself with low quality activities that only really do more harm than good. You can of course read or listen to audiobooks, of course, if that's easier for you, or if you're doing something where you can't really sit down with a book. It's hard to read and walk at the same time. Don't worry, I'm not suggesting that. Learn for the sake of improving your life, not just because you're told to. I guarantee you can enrich so many avenues of your life by reading or by listening to audiobooks. Deep thought is another one. Like I was saying before, if you have the chance, connect with your thoughts. Don't run away from them. They might be scary. There might be some dark demons in your head that you've been putting at bay through YouTube or Netflix or Reddit that you really don't want to engage with, but those problems aren't going away. And I guarantee you, if you're like me, even if you think that you can put them to the side and not focus on them by distracting yourself, you still feel their effects. They're still at the back of your mind. Or if you're like me, most of the time they're at the front of your mind. You think you're distracting yourself, but you're not even enjoying what you're distracting yourself with because you're still thinking about the problems. You know there's stuff you have to do. You know there's stuff that you're not doing at the moment. And you can't enjoy distracting yourself from those thoughts because those thoughts are so powerful, they push through the distraction. So what are you doing? Why try to distract yourself from these thoughts if they're going to be there anyway? Take some time to deal with them. Take some time to embrace the boredom and the silence and deal with your thoughts rather than trying to distract yourself from them. Your life will be so much more enriched and you'll actually start to progress and move towards solutions if you just get off YouTube. Through learning to embrace boredom, through learning to stop distracting myself with all of these instant gratification activities, to learn to be able to hone my focus and stay distraction free when boredom strikes, my life has improved so much, and yours can too. My ability to focus has improved so much. I used to be able to barely do 10 minutes of focused work at a time before I was reaching for my phone, before I was turning YouTube on. Now I can go for over an hour. And not only that, that hour of work, that hour of deep, distraction-free, focused work is worth more than an entire 7-hour workday full of phone distractions, full of breaks. I can focus so much more and produce work of the quality that I know I'm capable of in such a small amount of time versus the entire day of quite low quality, very distracted, very unproductive work. As I said earlier, one of the things I started doing a lot more once I stopped these distracting activities was reading. I have learned so much in the last 6 months compared to the last 3 to 4 to 5 years, and I'm not exaggerating, I really mean that. The amount of books that I've read, the amount of subjects I've expanded my knowledge on, or even been introduced to, have completely changed the way I view life. I'll do another video on this at some point, showing sort of what I've come to learn, what I've come to believe, what I've changed about my beliefs since starting self-improvement. But I'm a completely different person. Even 6 months. 6 months is nothing. 6 months is an insignificant amount of time over the course of your life. And yet, just by eliminating, not all, but a lot of distraction in my life, I still do indulge. I'm not perfect. I absolutely spend probably more time than I should on these instant gratification activities. But compared to what I used to be like, it's night and day. I'm a different person. In 6 months, I've grown more than the last 5 years. And I want to fast track that process for you. I feel so much happier, so much more fulfilled, so much more complete as a person because of the amount of deep thought I'm able to do. I don't distract myself when I'm on walks. I don't distract myself when I'm on the bus. I don't distract myself when I'm doing the laundry or doing quite a mindless task. I spend that time thinking about the areas of my life that are causing me problems, that I want to improve. And I've come up with so many solutions. I've worked towards being a better version of myself. And I guarantee you that I wouldn't be even half as close as I am now if I kept on distracting myself. I've embraced the boredom. I've learned how to use this boring time to my advantage, and I've grown so much because of it. And finally, there's a book by author Cal Newport called Deep Work, and he talks a lot about learning to rid your life of distractions and embrace boredom, embrace a distraction-free lifestyle, and all of the benefits that that brings. Again, I'm not going to go over every single one. There are so many of them, and I definitely recommend checking out his book if this is something you're interested in. But he puts it very well. He says that once you're wired for distraction, you crave it. You have been wiring your brain to seek distraction, to seek overstimulation any moment that boredom creeps in. Your brain is hardwired to reach for your phone, to turn YouTube on, to eat the junk food when you're bored. You need to destroy that wiring. You need to rewire your brain to not automatically seek comfort and to seek distraction when you're bored, but instead to embrace the boredom, to be able to focus in times of boredom. And you can do that with the tips mentioned in this video, but you have to put in a conscious effort. The rewards are so worth it. Now, I'm not going to leave you with just that. I've got a few more tips, a few more things that can help you on this journey, because it's a very difficult, although very rewarding and very worthwhile journey to make. The modern world is full of distractions. Companies have spent billions of dollars and put thousands of hours into designing apps and activities to keep you hooked, keep you distracted for as long as possible, so they can get as much money from you and as much of your time from you as possible. The number one thing you can do to make yourself comfortable with boredom and make yourself be able to focus in moments of boredom is meditation. Now, this isn't a video on meditation, so look out for that in the future when it comes. But to summarize, meditation will help you learn to be in the moment and actually enjoy, or at least get comfortable with, the whole idea of doing nothing. It's not exactly true. You are focusing on your breath or the object of your focus when you're meditating, but for the sake of this video, we'll equate it with doing nothing. You're not distracting yourself at the very least. This will be a very difficult thing when you first start. Expect to not exactly fail, but expect to find it difficult. Expect to not be perfect or even good at it when you start. It's definitely a skill that you need to level up, but you can level it up. Start slowly. Start with very small amounts of meditation when you do begin your meditation journey, because you don't need to try and do the 20, 30 minute, 60 minute meditation sessions that you probably see other people doing. They've been doing it for years. Be humble, start with what's relevant to you and work your way up. In terms of music, I've talked about listening to music a few times in this video, and you're probably thinking, but what's wrong with listening to music? I want to listen to music. Music helps me. You don't want to be listening to music just as a replacement for boredom, just in order to turn your brain off and not listen to your thoughts, just to distract yourself. That's the time when you should be practicing the skill of embracing boredom. When music is not the primary focus, or when it's an aid to another productive and beneficial activity, like working or like exercising, then by all means listen to music. That's fantastic. That's not the point of this distraction-free lifestyle. Just don't listen to music, or severely reduce the amount of time you spend listening to music when you're doing it just to alleviate boredom, when you're doing it just to distract yourself. If you're somebody who is really easily distracted by your phone or whatever it is that distracts you, like me, I'm the exact same. I'll say all of this, and then if I have my phone next to me, I'll instinctively, habitually, without even thinking, pick it up in the middle of a deep work session when I don't want to. The best thing to do if you're like me is to put the object of your distraction, let's be honest, it's going to be your phone. Put your phone on mute, disable notifications, and put it in another room. Don't even have it there with you. Out of sight, out of mind is a bit cliche, but it's very powerful. It really does work. And so if your phone is in another room, if you can't hear it, you'll be far less likely to be distracted by it. The common argument against this is, oh, but what if there's an emergency? What if somebody really needs my attention and I've got the phone on silent, or I don't see it, I can't see it? What happens then? Be honest with yourself, that's a bit of a cope. How many times have you actually had an emergency that you needed your phone to deal with? None. None. There hasn't been anything at all that you needed your phone to deal with. How many times has your phone distracted you during the day when you didn't want to be distracted? Every time. Literally every time. There's no comparison. Put your phone on mute or silent or whatever, disable notifications, get it out of the room. There is no comparison. That is the number one thing you can do if you're like me and you're easily distracted. Don't lie to yourself. Don't cope. You know it's true. Get rid of the phone. There's no emergency. Nothing's gonna happen. There's gonna be no car crash. There's no emergency. It's like, just stop. Don't kid yourself, mate. Just don't. By learning to embrace boredom, by learning to stop distracting yourself, by learning to let go of all of the instant gratification moments that you indulge in just because there's nothing else to do. Not only will your focus improve, not only will your awareness and ability to be present in the moment improve, but when you do indulge in these activities, you'll actually enjoy them rather than being bored during the activities that you're doing to not be bored. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope this video has helped. If you're like me, these things can really change your life in quite a short amount of time, actually. If you'd like to see more videos like this, if what I've said here has resonated with you, if you think you're somebody who could benefit from the experiences of someone who's more than likely been in your situation before, consider subscribing. I really think you'll benefit from it, and it helps me too, so that's also cool. Until then though, my name's Dan, and remember, always keep on smiling. Put your fucking phone away.